Howdy ho. I know everyone that matters wanted to get their PS5 reviews out as quick as possible, but I like to bake with a console for a while. You know, prod the meat, massage the potatoes. There's no denying it's difficult to say it looks different without a sort of negative connotation, and if you have to lay it sideways, it's nearly impossible to say anything positive. It does grow on you after a while though, as it's clear they used visual trickery in an effort to offset its size, and that's the part that still remains true. No matter how you spin it, when it comes to home consoles, this thing is definitely the opposite direction we all thought the future of hardware size was going. Lastly, to install the internal storage expansion, you gotta take one of the sides off and open up a bay. Now for me, something like that'll be a cakewalk. But think about the entire size of the PlayStation user base and tell me you don't think someone's gonna damage their PS5 doing something we consider simple. There seemed to be a bit of lack in foresight regarding storage expansion due to their custom storage setup. More on that later. Moving on to the controller are far more positive things to say. The texture is a bit on the smooth side, which means it induces a little bit of sweating if you're playing something like Demon's Souls, but I've put the hours in and this thing is quite comfortable. There are some interesting tidbits most people miss that I actually appreciate. Somebody took a page from Microsoft's Elite controller and put a plastic lip around the joystick cutouts. This reduces and/or eliminates joystick column wear. It also helps to make the joystick move really smoothly along its outer extreme edge and is a huge plus to me. Also, in playing Astro's Playroom, their haptic feedback algorithms are definitely superior to Nintendo's Joy-Con, and I was impressed that I could feel textures the way I could. At the same time, I have mixed feelings about the dynamic tension triggers. After prolonged monkeying around, I did find that when additional tension is used in the triggers, some fatigue can be felt in my forefingers. It's an awesome thing when it comes to feel, but I can predict 100% of people who play hours of repeated trigger use will turn it off entirely. A lot of people don't think about console UIs because they're usually simplistic and purpose-driven. However, the PS5's UI seems to have taken a step back from the PS4. It's not that I expected the exact same thing, but they made changes I hope are undone or reverted to PS4 functionality in the future. For example, I could hold the PS button on the PS4 and then choose to power off my PS4. That is not the case with the PS5, and holding the PS button actually does nothing useful. I have to press the PS button and then navigate over to the power icon. As a person who firmly believes in shutting my consoles off, it's a small, minor, but strange change in process, and this actually pervades the rest of the UI. Even though I've gotten used to it, it's just not intuitive and well laid out. I always feel like I'm navigating, which is the mark of a non-user-friendly UI. The PS4 actually felt rather quick in comparison, not because it was actually quicker, but because it was more concise. Lastly, they don't have custom themes yet, and that kinda sucks because I paid for my PS4 theme, and some of the dynamic themes for the PS4 were really cool. Here's hoping. First off, at its core, it's an 8-core, 16-thread AMD CPU coupled with the 10.3 teraflop AMD GPU. Furthermore, it comes with only an 825GB SSD. And I've purposely installed some titles to see just how quickly it can fill up, which leads me to the conclusion that you'll fit about 10 games before it becomes a problem. But the real selling point has actually manifested in their PS5 exclusive titles. The custom storage's raw input-output speeds. When playing games that are PS5 exclusives, there are nearly no loading times. I kid you not, I am thoroughly impressed. This does not pervade the third-party or PS4 exclusive titles, which leads me to believe that this requires some specific optimization in the game's asset loading structure to achieve. But there is no denying that Sony's exclusives moving forward will prove to essentially eliminate loading times while reducing CPU load. In closing, the PS5 is a solid kit. Its looks are up for debate, most often in an excusatory manner like, it's for cooling reasons. The controller has great features too, namely the cutout lip and very precise haptic feedback, but its dynamic tension triggers will wane in the minds of more hardcore players. And while its UI is fast, it's less intuitive and user-friendly than its predecessor. Its storage technology, though, is a huge boon and sure to pan out as more exclusives keep coming out with virtually no load times. All in all, the PS5 doesn't seem rushed, it just seems like it needs a little more time in the oven, particularly in the UI and storage expansion area as more games continue coming and the need to manage your library becomes a very real thing. I'll see you next time on the Gaming 5.